Con. Hey, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, before I get started, I want to give all honor and glory and power to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Hakwadash. I want to say double honors to our elders, our great apostles, great millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, being great example to Israel. All right, my dear elect. I want to say peace and blessings to the hope of the elect on the four corners in the truth and sincerity. All right, that great song that you brought in the bar. I just come with a little quick lesson, all right, which is a testimony. All right, as you can see the title of the lesson, all right, Jesus don't work. It never did. All right, and here it is, the Most High Yahweh have returned to us this prayer language, which is the Hebrew, all right, the Lashon Kadash, is going to the Holy Tongue, because the Hebrew, all right, is the tongue or the language of the heavens, all right, and the Most High Yahweh have returned us that language, all right, as prophecy continue to be fulfilled. That was one of them, all right, him returning us to our language, back to our heritage, to call upon him to be saved, because the name is crucial, all right, for salvation. Now, the testimony that I have is dealing with my mom, but first my dad, and dealing with evil spirits, because you can say they Jesus freaks, right? So what happened one day, my dad, he came down and stayed with my sister for a minute. And he, like, as he was there, like, those spirits that he kept hearing at night, and certain things that used to go on through the day when he was there by himself, he like, hey, there's some damn spirits in here. And he called on Jesus. They believe Jesus and they believe in God, you know what I'm saying? So they call on them names, all right? But he came to a point, he was like, hey, that ain't working. We need to call Nigel and get him over here, you know what I'm saying? But he can pray and see if them demons leave, see if those spirits leave. All right, so they called me up. And I went over there. You know what I'm saying? I had the sage. Right? I had the sage and Palo Santo sticks, whatever. The rules, you gotta open the window, crack the door, you know what I'm saying? But I just told them to leave out though. So they went outside or whatever, did what they had to do. And I put the prayer up. You know what I'm saying? I put the prayer up, you know what I'm saying? Bless the house, you know what I'm saying? In the name of Yahweh Shema Shai. And, smoke the house out with the sage and stuff like that. And I went back outside, I told them, and long story short, from there, those spirits was gone. You know what I'm saying? My dad, he would always bring it up, and he would always tell his friends or whoever, his sisters or whoever, the conversation was going on, and then I'll pop up sometime, then he'll tell them about that. You know what I'm saying? How I prayed, you know what I'm saying, to our power, all right? And you can't say my power, you know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is the power of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So when we pray to Yahweh Shema Shai, those spirits left. But when he was praying, when they was trying to pray to Jesus, all right, those spirits didn't leave. Like more came. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell them about that. You know what I'm saying? So my mom this morning, she said, I was trying to hold back from telling you or asking you. She was trying to hold back. All right? But she said last night, you know what I'm saying? They just, it was just too much last night. You know what I'm saying? So now she telling me she need me because she remember when my dad told her, you know what I'm saying, how I got them evil spirits out of my sister crib for my dad. You know what I'm saying? So my mom said that she remembered that. She said she didn't want to call me or tell me, but she had to, because last night it was like it drew the line. You know what I'm saying? But it's to show you that name Jesus, all right, it don't work. You know what I'm saying? It don't work. We thought it worked. It don't work. Because the spirit know. All right? It's in the scriptures, in the book of Acts, how those spirits knew. You know what I'm saying? How those spirits knew Apostle Paul. They knew Peter now. Those spirits know. You know what I'm saying? It's the name and the vibration. And calling on the name of the Lord in truth and sincerity, man. You see? Now I gotta go over there when I get off work. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, you know what I'm saying, the prayers be answered. That those demons, you know what I'm saying, leave the crib. But the point of the fact is that Jesus don't work because she always calling on Jesus. We always, you know, here and there talking about the name of the Lord. But now she calling on me because she, all right, the power that I serve, all right, come through. He answered. You know, now Lord willing, she see from her when I do go and put them prayers up. You know what I'm saying? She'll start to practice and call on Yahweh Shema Shai and come out of that illusion. You know what I'm saying? Because Jesus don't work. All right, the scripture say in Romans the 8th chapter, it said the Spirit give intercession. All right, that let you know that you know Yahweh Shai is working on our behalf. You know, the Lord is working on our behalf. We put up prayers, man. He is our mediator. All right, and mercy come through that. You know, so here it is. And when you go to Sirach, the phone cut out and everything. When you go into Sirach, all right, known as Ecclesiastes, all right, when you go into the prelude, all right, it gives you the understanding of the power of the languages. As we was going into yesterday, you know, so Tazamak was breaking it down yesterday, dealing with the language of the heavens and the language of the earth, as in Yiddish, English, Spanish, you know what I'm saying, Greek, Latin. You know, you got all these different language, but the language of the heavens, where hold the power, what made things move, you know, cause look at the prophets. You know, look at the prophets and how the prophets prophesied, and where now we see those things coming to what? Fruition. We speak all these things to existence. You know, the apostles and elders was prophesying, all right, the MOTB. Now look at it. It's here. Prophesying Jacob trouble. Look at it. It's here. You know, World War III. Look at it. It's here, man. And these the words of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, where He have given the prophets, all right, the ability through the Spirit to say this thing before it happened. Now we're in the midst of it happening. You know what I'm saying? So this show you that dealing with the name Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai alone is powerful, man. Because Proverbs 18-20, right? The name of the Lord Yahweh is what? It's a strong tower, but only the righteous run into it and it's safe. You know, only the righteous run into it and it's safe. So I want to get this prelude, you know, because I really just want to tell that little testimony of how, you know, using the true names of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, the demons or those spirits disappear, man. All right, they leave, but calling on Jesus, it don't work. It don't work calling on Jesus. All right, but this is prelude in the Sirach, and it says, it said, wherefore, let me entreat you to read this with favor and attention. And when you read, you gotta understand. You have to look up these certain words. You have to look up. You have to go into them. You know. But when you read the scriptures, you gotta read it with full attention. You know. And it says with favor and attention, right? Attention. It says, and to be pardoned with us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we labor to interpret. Because here it is, the scriptures as we got as the Bible was translated from the Hebrew, all right, to the Greek and to the Latin, and then we had these bastard tongues, English. You know, you got the book, you know, got certain books written in the Syrian Hebrew, you know. So here it is. It says, once again, for we labor to interpret for the same thing that utter in Hebrew. All right, because Hebrew is the foundation of all languages. All right, so that's why everything ties back into the Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, man. So it says, for the same thing uttered in Hebrew, all right, and translate it into another tongue go back to language. It says, have not, all right? It have not the same force in them. You see? So they're just like a corner analogy, right? They're just like the shoes you see in the corner store, right? The shoes that you see in the corner store, they made like Jordans. They look just like Jordan. They look like Air Maxes, but they don't have the name Jordan on there. They don't have the name Air Max on there. So what? It don't have the same power to it. You ain't gonna get them hoes and rock them just to the club. Why? Because they don't have the Jordan sign on there. They don't have the Air Max signs on there. But them hoes look just like what? Jordans. They look just like Air Max. Right? But you're not gonna rock them, you're not gonna wear them. So this is similar as the name or the language Hebrew. All right? Hebrew hold power. All right? So once again, it says, things that uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books. Because also when you do go into these languages, they got different meanings. All right? They got different meanings. You know? And point of case, the word mark. All right? When you go into the word mark, there's 3 different types of marks, I think, in the scriptures. Scopeo, to be exempt. That mark to be exempt is a tawa. All right, and you got the one in Revelation we speak about, the MOTB. That's the charagma. But it's the same word though. It's the same word mark. You see? But it had what? 3 different meanings right there. Scopeo, because it said mark those they call divisions, put a scope on their ass. That's scopeo. That's one mark. All right, and the mark that's gonna exempt us from the judgment. All right, is the mark of tawa, which is what this word receiving this understanding. All right, and then the MOTB, that mark. All right, they go to the charagma. You see, so it have not the same force. That's why you got to go into the words. You see, so when you tap into the Hebrew, you get the true meaning of that word. Like world too, world in itself. World got 3 different meanings: eon, cosmos, and Orchomenic. You know, but it's still what? It's still a word. It's still the same word, world. All right. So when you go into these languages, Hebrew is the language. All right. So going back to the testimony of my mom, all right, my dad gone, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, he called me, you know what I'm saying, and asked me to pray to get those spirits out of my sister's crib. And now my mom talking about herself, she couldn't help it. You know, like I said, she tried to weigh it out. But she like, I need you to come and pray and get these spirits out the crib. You know? So that's just for me, like the name of the Lord, it's real, man. It's powerful, man. You know what I'm saying? So don't let nobody else, all right, knock you off your salvation dealing with, you know what I'm saying, the name of the Lord. All those Jesus freaks, those blessed and highly favored motherfuckers, they through. All right? They under illusion. They still hypnotized, man. All right? By the serpent. But the Lord have snapped us out of that. You know, he have returned unto us that pure language. He have given us his name to be saved. Because how else we going to be saved? We seeing World War III, you know what I'm saying, in the making. You know what I'm saying? We heard about war talks. We heard about missiles being flying every day. You know those apps coming to your phone, those notifications. And guess what you're seeing? Putin, Kim Jong-un. You know what I'm saying? You seeing all these different leaders of these nations saying how they're gonna shoot missiles upon Babylon the Great or NATO or the EU. You know what I'm saying? So here it is, when those missiles get them shooting over here to America, how can you be delivered from that? How can you be protected or saved from that if you don't have the name of the Lord? Because that's the only name that we're gonna be saved by. Come on, man. But yeah, let me get these precepts. I got like 10 minutes. And shalom to y'all brothers and sisters too on the coming board, man. Yeah, this is that's right. This Acts 4:12. All right, Yahweh. All right, it said neither is there salvation in the other, for there is none other name among heaven given among men whereby you must be saved. You know what the name, man. And that's the power, all right, of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. And he only giving it to what? A select group of people known as the elect, which are the chosen. You know? So if you're able to call on the name of the Lord, you know, you're able to see the signs, which is, you know, prophecy, you blessed. You see? And don't be bamboozled. That's why I say in 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 15 and I think it's 2 or 3 going to the incredulity. Let me get it right quick. This is 2nd Ezra 15. I think it's 3. Yeah. See, this 2nd Ezra 15 and 3, it said, fear not the imagination against thee. All right? Because the devils imagine, all right, this MOTB to be, be mandated, put in place, turn you to a human druid. All right, you got these scoffers and mockers. All right, they're imagining death against you. They're imagining you getting, put in a concentration camp, you know what I'm saying, good taken advantage of. All right, but the Most High Yahweh said, fear not the imaginations against thee. All right, it said, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. And the incredulity going to unbelievers or unbelief. A lot of people, we seeing now mocking and scoffing, well, we can't let that, offend us. We can't let that knock us from our trust, our belief, our faith, our walk to salvation. We can't let that affect us. All right? So it said, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. All right? Because guess what? It's not given up to them to know the mystery. It's not given up to them to call on the name of Yahweh Shema Shah. Because this language and his name is only for the elect in this time to call on to be saved. It's not given up to everybody. All right? So, I get Yahweh, I get that Proverbs 18 and 10. Yeah, that's it. The name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower. All right? The righteous run into it, and it's safe. That's heaven. But it said only the righteous. You know what I'm saying? So it's requirements to be righteous. Certain things that you have to do to be righteous. Certain things you have to say to be righteous. You see? Because only the righteous is going to call on the name of Yahweh Shema Shai, things going to move. And so once again, going to the name word Jesus, it don't work. Because this whole time, the Most High Yahweh, he controlled this. You know what I'm saying? How we was in these Christian churches calling on Jesus, calling on God, really thinking, believing that it was their true name, having no idea of the Hebrew. Because these churches don't, especially when we were growing up, they didn't teach us the Hebrew. They didn't say that. These churches don't go into when the Lord was knocked out the horse, by Yahweh Shai, and Paul spoke to him in the Hebrew. we didn't learn that. But now everything is coming back into us. Why? Because of prophecy. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. So in order to be saved, we will have the name of the Lord. The true name. You see? The true name of the Lord. Not Jesus, not Yahweh, not Yeshua, not Yah. None of those names is going to deliver you in a time of trouble. None of those names, man. You see? So Lord willing, y'all brothers and sisters edified. All right, once again, hey, Jesus don't work, it never did. But Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, it's like that. All right. So the next time, I'll give all honor glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash, double honor to our elders, and peace and bless the hope elect. And may the Lord continue to bless y'all morning.